Terrence Holloway?
That's me. What's this about?
You're under arrest for mail theft and bank fraud.
This is
So that's me. What's this about? You need something? Yeah. We need you to get in these handcuffs, Terrence.
Terrence Holloway, an Ohio postal carrier who has just made the biggest mistake of his life. And in less than 10 seconds, he'll be handcuffed in the back of a police car thinking about that mistake.
Wait, what? I've been here 26 years.
We found the phone, Mr. Holloway.
You don't understand. I have a family.
Turn around.
It's over with, T. Watch the mailman, man. You can't trust nobody these days, man. Nobody.
Hands behind your back now.
I never hurt anyone. I just took pictures.
I just took pictures. That's what he kept repeating as they put him in handcuffs. 23 years delivering mail on the same route. He knew every family by name, waved at their children, and accepted their holiday tips. I just took pictures. 3,412 of them. Every personal check.
At least he could have did would be like, nah, just go ahead. You keep the tip. I'm all right. You already stealing from him. Dang, you took the tips and everything. Forget about the kids.
That passed through his hands for 6 years. Photographed, cataloged, and sold to a fraud ring operating out of a storage facility 40 miles away. He stole almost $2 million, 719 victims across a single zip code, exposed bank accounts, destroyed credit scores, IRAs drained, and families who lost their homes to foreclosure because the mortgage payments they mailed every month never arrived. The Postal Inspection Service would later describe this as one of the most systematic mail theft operations.
How the bank or your mortgage company didn't tell you or warn you that, hey, we haven't been receiving your payment. And they just let the house go on foreclosure. Everybody in on it.
In Ohio history. Before we go further, have you mailed a check in the last year? Have you ever had a payment go missing and been told it must have gotten lost in the system? Let us know in the comments. And subscribe to the channel. We cover similar cases like this every week. Born on March 3, 1972, Terrence Holloway lived in a 2-bedroom apartment above a hardware store in Trotwood, Ohio. As the oldest of 3, he shared a room with his brother until he turned 16. Worked at a Kroger bagging groceries from the age of 15, $4.25 an hour, gave half to his mother for rent. He graduated from Trotwood Madison High School in 1990. His grades were average. His attendance was perfect. His senior yearbook quote read, "Work hard, stay steady, good things come." The good thing came in 1994.
I'm going to show you, man. I don't care who you will. That money will do something to you. That money will do something to you. Hard times will make you do some drastic things, man.
A cousin who worked at the Dayton, Maine post office told him they were hiring. Terrence applied on a Thursday, took the civil service exam 3 weeks later, passed on his first try with a score of 87. Started as a part-time flexible carrier at the Kettering branch on September 6th, 1994.
That man went young, too, when he started. 26 years. Look how he look. Still left.
Starting pay, $11.40 an hour. Benefits after 90 days. Pension after 20 years. It was more money than his father had made at the plant. More security than anyone in his family had ever known. His supervisors noticed him early. The evaluations from those first years still existed in his personnel file when investigators pulled it decades later. Punctual and dependable. Demonstrates strong route memorization. Interacts positively with residents. Low maintenance. Works independently without issues. In 1999, Terrence Holloway was converted to full career status. In 2004, he was assigned to Route 119, a loop through the Southdale and Lincoln Park subdivisions in Kettering. 462 delivery points, 11.8 miles, 312 households where families had lived for generations. The houses on Route 119 weren't mansions, but they weren't apartments above hardware stores either. These were 3-bedroom ranches with attached garages, split levels with finished basements, brick colonials with American flags by the door. The people who lived there were teachers, middle managers, small business owners, retirees who had worked 40 years and earned the right to sit on their porches. They wrote checks for everything: mortgage payments, car notes, insurance premiums, quarterly taxes, donations to their churches, birthday money for grandchildren in other states. Every month, thousands of dollars in paper passed through Terrence Holloway's hands. For 19 years, he delivered it without incident. Then something changed. The United States Postal Service processes 425 million pieces of mail every single day.
So he been there 26 years. So 7 years, he was stealing from the folk for 7 years. 19 years, he doing good until he ran into the. We gonna see what happened.
Letters, packages, postcards, legal documents, tax returns, checks written in ballpoint pen, sealed in paper envelopes, dropped in curbside boxes with little red flags raised. For suburban routes like Route 119, the letter carrier is the entire system. There is no security checkpoint, no signature log, no photograph documenting which pieces of mail were collected from which address. A homeowner raises the red flag. The carrier stops. The envelope goes into the satchel. The flag goes down. What happens next is a matter of trust. Carriers are required to transport collected mail directly to the processing center at the end of their shift. From there, outgoing mail is sorted, postmarked, and sent on its way. The process is designed for speed and efficiency. It is not designed for verification. If a letter vanishes between the mailbox and the processing center, no alarm sounds. No flag is raised. The sender assumes it was delivered. The intended recipient assumes it was never sent. The Postal Service has no record it ever existed. The only protection is the carrier's integrity. Federal law takes that integrity seriously. Under 18 U.S.C. Section 1708, mail theft by a postal employee is a federal crime carrying up to 5 years in prison per offense. Postal inspectors conduct random vehicle checks. Supervisors perform quarterly route audits. Undercover integrity tests are deployed at stations with elevated complaint rates. At the Kettering branch, the audits were documented. The vehicle inspections were logged. The integrity tests were conducted according to schedule. None of them caught Terrence Holloway. In 23 years at the same station, he was subjected to 4 vehicle inspections. Each one lasted under 15 minutes. Each one resulted in a notation that his vehicle was clean and organized. No mail was ever examined. No questions were ever asked. It started in August 2017. Terrence Holloway was sorting outgoing mail in the cargo area of his LLV, the boxy white delivery truck that is the workhorse of suburban routes. He was parked on Willowbrook Drive, 3/4 through his loop. The air conditioning in the truck had been broken for 2 weeks. Maintenance kept saying they'd get to it. He was sweating through his uniform when he noticed the envelope. Hand addressed, purple ink, a birthday card, obviously. Addressed to a woman in Arizona from a house on Willowbrook he'd been delivering to for 13 years. The Hendersons, retired schoolteacher and her husband. They sent birthday cards every month, anniversary cards, sympathy cards, always with checks inside. Terrence held the envelope up to the light. He could see the outline of the check. He could see the amount written in the memo line, $300. He didn't steal it that day, but he photographed it, front and back, the routing number, the account number, the signature.
Mind you, this is a man with no felonies, no charges. He wouldn't be working there if he had a jail record. But by him working there, made him out of a criminal. They put checks in front of this man's face. You know, it was like, you know what I'm saying, temptation is something else.
The connection was a man named Jamal Hicks. Hicks ran a check alteration operation out of a storage unit in Middletown, 40 minutes north on I-75. The setup was simple. Checks were photographed. The images were sent via encrypted messaging app. Hicks's people used the routing and account information to create counterfeit checks, or they chemically washed the originals and rewrote them to different payees. The funds were deposited into a rotating network of accounts opened with stolen identities. Terrence was paid $50 per check, cash, handed to him in the parking lot of a Meijer on Wilmington Pike every Tuesday evening. No records, no deposits, nothing traceable. At $50 per check, the math was simple. 15 checks a week was $750. Tax-free. 30 checks was $1,500. By the spring of 2018, Terrence Holloway was photographing an average of 41 checks per week. He had developed a routine. He would collect outgoing mail normally throughout his route. Then he would park in a cul-de-sac on Stockton Avenue.
41 checks a week, man.
A dead-end street with no houses facing the road. He would sort through the stack. Anything with the weight and feel of a check got opened. Photographed with a tablet he kept wedged between the seats. Resealed with a glue stick. Placed back in the stack and delivered to the processing center as though nothing had happened. The victims received their mail intact, a birthday card, a thank you note. What they didn't receive was the check that had been inside. The complaints started arriving in early 2018. A retired nurse on Ackerman Boulevard called her insurance company about a cancellation notice. She'd sent the quarterly premium 3 weeks earlier. The check had never arrived. A widower on Glenbeck Drive received a delinquency notice from his mortgage servicer. The payment had been mailed on time. It had never posted. In each case, the post office response was the same. Mail delays occur. Please contact your bank. Please issue a replacement check. Please accept our apologies for the inconvenience. No investigation was opened. No one realized that every complaint came from the same root. Warren and Mildred Townsend purchased their home on Rushmore Drive in 1987. He was a supervisor at a tool and die shop in West Carrollton. She was a nurse at Kettering Medical Center. They raised 2 children in that house. Paid the mortgage on the first of every month, by check. Mailed from the curbside box. For 34 years, the system worked. Warren retired in 2019. Mildred retired the year after. They had a plan. Pay off the house by 2024. Travel. Spend winters in Florida with their daughter. They were 11 months from owning their home free and clear. The certified letter arrived in April 2023. Mildred was standing in the kitchen when she opened it. Her hands were trembling before she finished the first paragraph. $19,612 in arrears. Payments missing for 7 months. Foreclosure proceedings would begin in 60 days. Warren called the mortgage servicer that evening. He had the carbon copies from their checkbook. He had the bank statements. The representative put him on hold for 18 minutes. When she came back, her tone had changed. The payments had cleared, she confirmed. But not to the mortgage company. The checks had been intercepted. The payee names altered. The funds deposited to accounts the Townsends had never heard of. 7 months of payments. $18,200. Gone. Their son, Keith, was a network security analyst for a healthcare system in Columbus. When his parents called him that night, his mother crying, his father silent with rage, he drove to Kettering the next morning. He spent the following 8 weeks investigating. Keith started with his parents' mail, built a spreadsheet, contacted neighbors, posted on the Kettering Community Facebook group asking if anyone else had experienced missing payments. The responses overwhelmed him. Dozens of families, the same pattern, lost checks, mysterious late fees, insurance cancellations, credit damage that appeared from nowhere.
Look how they showing Terrence and his wife having a ball at a football game. They had the Browns there at the football game, man. I'm talking about enjoying their life and destroying other people's lives.
One elderly man had been denied a car loan because of delinquencies he didn't know existed. A young couple had nearly lost their health coverage when premium payments vanished. Every single one lived on Route 119. On June 14, 2023, Keith Townsend filed a formal complaint with the United States Postal Inspection Service. He attached 43 pages of documentation, victim statements, financial records, a map with every affected address highlighted in red. Every address was on Terrence Holloway's route.
Now see, that's what he didn't think about. That's where his brain didn't start working. This stuff is gonna come back to you. You the only one work this route. In every house in that area, you've been stealing from. Who you think they're gonna point the blame at? Who you think they're gonna start investigating? That money, man. The money will blind you.
The complaint arrived at the Cincinnati field office of the Postal Inspection Service on June 16, 2023. It was assigned to Inspector Lydia Okonkwo, a 12-year veteran who specialized in internal theft cases. Within 72 hours, she had identified Terrence Holloway as the carrier for Route 119 since 2004. She pulled his personnel file. 23 years of service. No disciplinary actions. Evaluations that described him as steady and low maintenance. Within 2 weeks, she had subpoenaed his financial records. Terrence Holloway earned $54,380 in 2022. His wife, Carolyn, earned $29,000 as a part-time bookkeeper. Combined household income, $83,000. In the same year, the Holloway family deposited $118,000 in cash and money orders across 3 different credit unions. They paid off their minivan. They paid cash for a hot tub installation. They took 2 vacations to Biloxi, Mississippi. They helped their daughter with a down payment on a condo. On July 8, 2023, Inspector Okonkwo arranged covert surveillance of Holloway's route. An unmarked vehicle with tinted windows followed him from the Kettering station. At 1:23 p.m., Holloway parked his LLV on Stockton Avenue, the dead-end street with no facing houses. The vehicle's cameras captured him opening envelopes, photographing contents with a tablet device, resealing and restacking. On July 19, 2023, federal agents executed a search warrant at the Holloway residence on Smithville Road in Trotwood. In the garage, on a shelf behind a case of motor oil, they found a Samsung tablet. The tablet was synced to a cloud storage account. The account contained a folder labeled Route. Inside were 3,412 photographs of personal checks. The metadata spanned October 2017 to July 2023. 6 years of systematic theft.
This man he even had a system to delete all this stuff, man. He should delete it. So we took a picture. Oh, we got the money. Everything was good. Delete it. But this man's a piece of trash, man. I can't believe that.
Documented in high resolution. Routing numbers, account numbers, signatures, memo lines that read, "Happy birthday," and property taxes Q3, and mom's assisted living, July. The tablet also contained a messaging app with encrypted conversations. The other party was later identified as Jamal Hicks. Holloway, February 11, 2022. 14 today, one was almost 5,000, estate settlement. Hicks. Beautiful, Tuesday same place? Holloway. Always. Holloway. May 3rd, 2022. Lady on Ackerman keeps sending insurance checks. 4th one this year. Hicks. She insured for everything, LOL. Holloway. September 17th, 2022.
God dang, man. You hear the conversations, man.
Mortgage check, $4,200. Big house on Rushmore. That was Warren and Mildred Townsend's address. These stories don't get covered enough. If you want to see accountability for people who violate public trust, hit subscribe and turn on notifications. The next part of this story is something you need to hear. On the morning of July 21, 2023, Terrence Holloway reported for work at 5:45 a.m. He parked in his usual spot, walked through the employee entrance, poured coffee from the break room pot, began sorting the day's mail at his station. It was a Friday. His route was lighter on Fridays. Inspector Okonkwo entered the building at 5:58 a.m. She was accompanied by 2 postal police officers. Terrence was holding a stack of magazines when they approached. He turned slowly. "Terrence Holloway? That's me."
Red Fox looking at him.
He set the magazines down. "Something wrong?" "You're under arrest for mail theft and conspiracy to commit bank fraud. Turn around and place your hands behind your back." He didn't turn. He stood there, motionless. His eyes moved to the other carriers in the staging area. 3 of them were watching. People he'd worked with for 2 decades. "Listen," his voice dropped. "Listen, you don't understand what's happening here. I've been doing this job for 23 years. 23 years. No complaints, no problems. You can ask anyone. We recovered the tablet, Mr. Holloway. We have the photographs." His face changed. The color drained out of it slowly, like water seeping from a sponge. "I never took anything. I never cashed a single check. All I did was take pictures.
Like, go to jail.
We know." He looked at the floor. His shoulders dropped. His hands began to tremble. "Do you know what this job pays? Do you know what it costs to live anymore?
Go to jail, man.
My daughter's student loans, my wife's medical bills."
What about the victims, though? What about their daughters? What about their medical bills? What about their mortgages? What about houses that was went into foreclosure because of you, dog? We don't want to hear that, man.
"The house needs a new roof. You don't understand what it's like. Turn around, Mr. Holloway. I just wanted to give my family something better. That's all I wanted." Inspector Okonkwo nodded to the officers. Terrence Holloway turned around. The handcuffs clicked into place. His coffee was still sitting on the sorting table, steam rising from the cup. They led him out through the loading dock, past the rows of white trucks, past the American flag hanging by the supervisor's office. His co-workers watched in silence. 23 years at the same station. It ended before sunrise. On August 29, 2023, a federal grand jury in the Southern District of Ohio returned a 51-count indictment against Terrence Wayne Holloway. The charges: 22 counts of mail theft under 18 U.S.C., Section 1708, 14 counts of bank fraud under 18 U.S.C., Section 1344, 9 counts of aggravated identity theft under 18 U.S.C., Section 1028A, 6 counts of conspiracy to commit wire fraud under 18 U.S.C., Section 1349. Jamal Hicks was arrested in Middletown 2 weeks later. He pleaded guilty and agreed to testify. Terrence Holloway's trial began on November 6, 2023, at the federal courthouse in Dayton. His attorney, Robert Castellano, argued that his client had been manipulated by Hicks, that he was a working man struggling with debt, that he had never personally profited from the altered checks, only from the photographs.
That's a sorry alibi, dog. That's sorry as I don't know what, boy. You finna go to jail. You went to prison. You got a sorry lawyer. So that's what you're gonna come up with? You was manipulated, grown old man, 50-something years old.
The prosecution presented testimony from 23 victims. They described late fees that snowballed into collection actions, credit scores that dropped 100 points overnight, insurance policies canceled without warning, retirement accounts frozen while fraud investigations crawled forward.
100 points overnight is crazy. Man. You got 700 credit score and it dropped down to 600 overnight. Woo.
On November 14th, Mildred Townsend took the witness stand. She was 71 years old. She wore the same dress she'd worn to her golden anniversary party 2 years earlier. Her voice was steady until it wasn't. "We did everything right, paid our bills on time, saved what we could. We were 11 months away from owning our home, 34 years of payments, and this man who smiled at us every morning, he took photographs of our checks and sold them to criminals. She paused, steadied herself on the witness box. We lost our home in August. The auction happened while we were staying with our daughter. I couldn't.
It's what I don't like, man. I don't like the fact that they don't nobody don't reimburse you. You got, I'm talking about the creditors, the banks. You know what I'm saying? They don't care nothing about you got scammed, man. Like, bro, they stole all our money from the mail route. And we just out of our house. All this money we put down on this doggone house, man. We about to pay the house off. You think they care about that? Man, they get to keep all that money and keep the house. That's a free house.
Watch. Warren watched on his phone. Strangers bidding on the place where we raised our children. She looked at Terrence Holloway. You said you never hurt anyone. We're 71 and 73 years old, and we're living in our daughter's basement because of you.
Hey.
Tell me that's not hurt. The jury deliberated for 5.
Oh, you gotta feel these people pain. You gotta feel their pain, though. 70-something years old, bro. They about to pay their house. And then at 70-something years old, the house still not paid off. Man, it ain't just Terrence out here scamming and frauding people, man. It's the banks. I'm telling you, it's all of them, man. It's like, man, come on, man. All this is rigged up. The government rigged up. You know what I'm saying? It's set up for you not to damn win. Anyway.
Hours. On November 18th, 2023, they returned guilty verdicts on all 51 counts. Sentencing was held on February 15th, 2024. Judge William Hargrove of the Southern District of Ohio delivered the court's ruling. Mr. Holloway, for 23 years, this community placed its trust in you. Every day, you entered their lives through their mailboxes. You handled their most private communications, their payments to keep their homes, their gifts to their grandchildren, the cards they sent to family members they might never see again. You photographed over 3,000 of those items and sold them to criminals. You enabled a fraud network that drained retirement accounts, destroyed credit histories, and foreclosed on the homes of elderly couples who had done nothing wrong except trust the system.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying right there, man. They put their trust in the system. And somebody cracked the code, somebody went in there and took all their money. Their bank got, their house got foreclosed on, sold off in auctions. You got proof of all this stuff of what's happening, man. It wasn't us. We did everything we were supposed to do. And still didn't get reimbursed for nothing. All the money the government has, man, they print off money every day. They give away money. They start wars and fund wars, billions of dollars, man. But for people like these 70-something years old, these people 70-something years old, did everything they supposed to do. You know what I'm saying? As far as the system go. You know what I'm saying? Come on, man. And y'all ain't get them nothing back. They could have gave them a house somewhere, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The government got billions of dollars, bro. They more than rich. I'm talking about, come on, man, it's America.
You told investigators you never hurt anyone. Mr. Holloway, 719 people filed victim impact statements in this case.
Him going to jail not gonna get nothing back, man. I don't really care about him going to jail. If it was me, I don't care about him going to jail, man. Give me my money back. Just give me my money back, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he got to go to jail, man. You know what I'm saying? Be punished, but that's not going to reimburse me. I'm still staying in my daughter's attic at 75 years old.
14 families lost their homes. 31 individuals required credit monitoring for the rest of their lives. The Townsends?
How? I don't understand. I don't want to believe that. Credit monitoring for the rest of their life. They got proof. This shit should have been on the news and everything. So all y'all see it ain't us. How you put me on a credit monitor for the rest of my life. How we don't get reimbursed?
A couple who paid their mortgage faithfully for 34 years are living in their daughter's basement because of what you did. That is hurt, Mr. Holloway. That is profound and lasting harm. The sentence: 97 months in federal prison, 8 years and 1 month, $743,000 in restitution, lifetime prohibition from federal employment, immediate forfeiture of his pension. Terrence Holloway was remanded to FCY Elkton, a low-security federal facility in Lisbon, Ohio, 120 miles from the route he drove for 19 years. His wife filed for divorce 4 months later. His daughter has not visited. He will be eligible for release in 2031. He will be 59 years old. Warren and Mildred Townsend never recovered their home. The foreclosure sale closed in August 2023. The house sold for $347,000. The couple who bought it has no idea what happened there. Keith Townsend testified before a House subcommittee on postal security in April 2024. His testimony contributed to the proposed Mail Integrity and Consumer Protection Act, legislation that would require photographic documentation of outgoing mail collection. The bill remains in committee. 719 victims, 6 years, $2 million, one man they trusted. That case cut deep. But what happened in this next video? It's beyond anything we've covered.
That's crazy, man. Subscribe to the channel, man, if you like the video, man. Go subscribe to Body Cam Horror. Go subscribe to Body Cam Horror. You know what I'm saying? I had a link in the description so you can go watch the videos, or if you want to go subscribe to their page. But that was a wild story, man. Like, comment, subscribe to the page, man. Tell me your thoughts. Reno Black, aka Hot. This has been another hot reaction. I'm out.